you came up in obviously the worst possible time to get any FaceTime with Vince McMahon because it's the pandemic, and why would you want to be, face to face talking to people, around people? Did you get any FaceTime with him? Did you have any conversations with him?
I did. I got very lucky. Once the Mickey thing was down the drain and they moved to the Amway, I started showing up again. Surprise!
Oh no.
I started showing up again. I think I sat outside Vince's office for 4 weeks. At that point, we were going to debut. I was going to debut as a trio. So we had moved on. Mickey storyline is out. Trio idea is in. It was going to be sexy Pussycat Dolls meets Charlie's Angels meets whatever it was. We hadn't gone too far down the rabbit hole thinking what that idea was going to be, but we were going to debut in a trio. Myself, Danielle Camella, and Santana Garrett.
Okay.
So I loved that idea. I think I'm going to say that about every idea, that because once I hear an idea, I get invested and I think of all the things that can come from it. So I loved it because I have a history with Danielle. We tried out for Tough Enough together. We were both alternates together. So we did have a lot of time alone. And then of course, Santana is one of my best friends and we traveled the world together. We were a tag team. I know how she works. So I knew that we were going to be able to make that work. So I sat outside Vince's office with them for a couple weeks and then on my own for a couple weeks.
All in one sitting. You never went home too.
Yeah, exactly. I stayed there. I actually slept at Amway. I brought my sleeping bag and a protein shake.
Shocking they released her. Shocking. She just camped out.
And that idea ended up, I was able to meet with a couple of writers, but I never got to meet with Vince for that 4 weeks of waiting, which, again, COVID, obviously, that's totally fine. And then once that idea was done and there was no ideas, I went again and waited for 3 weeks. And then I think on the third or fourth week, he ended up being able to see me, which was the best thing ever for my career. He sat down and we probably had a 30-minute chat. He asked who I was in terms of who do I want to be presented as. Yeah. And I told him, I've probably pitched 15, 20 ideas. And he said, okay, give them to me, pitch them to me. And I pitched every single 15 ideas to him. He wrote them all down. We talked about each one. We talked about what ones would work and what wouldn't. He, asked me why I thought certain things would work and why I thought certain things wouldn't. And 2 weeks later, I was in that Survivor Series qualifying match.
So, obviously that meeting went pretty well.
It went very well. Who knows on his end what he thought of me, but sure. I left with such a positive vibe about the entire thing and relaying the meeting to Matt. I realized how lucky I was to get such a long sit down with Vince McMahon. People just don't get that.
So when you're waiting, like how long are you waiting each time? Is there like a line? I'm so fascinated by this.
You show up at call time. You show up at, 1 or 2. I would show up around, so call time is 2. I would show up around 1:30. And I would sit beside his security guards outside his office and I would wait until 5 p.m.
Sounds like Club Vince. Like you're waiting for the security guards to let you in. Like, no, I
promise. And if you
cool.
go and somebody else is sitting there, you're like, no, like, that like there's a chance you might not, and you're going to sit there forever. I'll have to post it one of these days, but every time I waited outside, I took a picture with Vince's office in the background with a funny face. Like